After years of silence and speculation, Quando Rondo has finally released what no one expected: the last recordings connected to the tragic night King Von was killed. These raw and emotional recordings, previously kept under wraps, are now surfacing, sparking intense reactions. Whether it's an attempt at closure or something more complex, one thing's clear: people are talking. The timing is curious, and many are wondering what these recordings reveal about what truly happened that fateful night. What was the confrontation like from Quando Rondo's perspective? And what exactly went down on November 6, 2020, when the rap game was flipped upside down? That night started off like any other, with King Von, born Devin Daquan Bennett, hanging out outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. But what seemed like a regular evening quickly turned into tragedy, when Von was tragically caught in a confrontation that ultimately cost him his life. Since then, the streets have been buzzing, with conflicting accounts and leaked footage flooding the internet. Everyone has their version of events. Today we're diving into the full story, from Quando Rondo's perspective to newly released bodycam footage from Von's block homies that just surfaced online. Real talk, this entire situation is about being in the wrong place at the wrong time, where a single split-second decision changed everything forever. All the receipts point to King Von being at Opium nightclub earlier that night before heading to Monaco Hookah Lounge on Trinity Avenue between 3:20 and 4 a.m. This is when everything went off the rails, sending shockwaves through the entire culture. What makes this situation even wilder is that we now have actual statements from the main players involved. Quando Rondo, whose full name is Tikian Terrell Bowman, has been on record multiple times explaining his side ever since that fateful night. In a sit-down with Angela Yee, Quando broke down how he ended up in King Von's vicinity. According to Quando, he wasn't on any gangster timing that night. He swears he was just waiting for his man Lil Tim to return so they could bounce. Quando kept it real, admitting that he was caught off guard when Von and his crew approached. He described the moment as something out of a different realm, an out-of-body experience, when things escalated physically. That's when Timothy Lil Tim Leaks, Quando's day one, jumped into the mix. Tim himself later explained why he pulled the trigger, saying, "In my head, I'm like, why is somebody bothering my little brother? You feel me? That's what was really going through my head in the moment when it all popped off. But I'm a protective person. Anybody in my family, anybody I love, I'm going to protect them, regardless." That protective instinct quickly turned deadly. Security footage caught the moment Von ran up on Quando and allegedly put hands on him, causing everything to escalate quickly. Within seconds, shots were fired, and when the smoke cleared, 6 people had been shot, including King Von. Mark Blakely, who was with Von, also succumbed to his injuries, as did Lil Tim. After Von was hit, his crew rushed him to the hospital. TMZ released footage showing Von being carried into a car, which sped off from the scene, but despite their efforts, Von couldn't be saved. The very next day, November 7, 2020, police arrested Timothy Lil Tim Leaks and charged him with felony murder in connection with Von's death. At the time of his arrest, Tim was in Grady Hospital recovering from his own gunshot wounds. He later posted a $1.1 million bond in March 2021. As the story unfolded, more rumors started circulating, including about Von's alleged final words. His ex-girlfriend Asian Doll claimed Von sent a text saying, "Y'all let them get up on me. Stop crying, y'all let them get me." The message suggested Von felt his crew abandoned him during the altercation. However, Von's manager quickly shut that down, stating that Von's real last words were about showing love to Lil Durk and his fans. Then, in a wild plot twist, in August 2023, the DA dropped the murder charge against Lil Tim, but the paperwork didn't specify why this decision was made. Most legal experts believe the dropping of the charges against Lil Tim could be tied to Georgia's self-defense laws or issues with the available evidence. What makes King Von's death even more tragic is that it happened just as he was on the verge of stardom. His album Welcome to Oblak had just dropped a week before, with hits like Crazy Story and Took Her to the O, solidifying his place as the next big name in the drill scene. Just 2 days before everything went down, Von was caught on camera, looking like his career was about to skyrocket. As the situation spiraled out of control that fateful night outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge, the consequences for everyone involved have been devastating, ranging from ongoing legal battles to street retribution. However, nothing paints the chaotic picture of that night quite like the newly surfaced body cam footage, which gives a raw look at the mayhem that unfolded after Vaughn was shot. The recently leaked body cam footage, which began circulating in late 2024, captures critical moments right after the shooting. While the full, uncut footage is not widely available to the public, descriptions from law enforcement sources and street forums indicate that it shows Oblak Louie shooting at Lil Tim and vehicles associated with Quando Rondo's crew. The footage starts just after Vaughn was hit, following the police response to the scene. According to those who've seen the footage, it begins at the moment Vaughn was shot, showing cops arriving while Oblak members continued firing. In a later interview that went viral on social media, Louie reflected on the events that night, stating, "Yo, what happened with King Vaughn that night, man? What happened? Why did y'all?" Louie responded, saying, "Listen, man, King Vaughn is his own man. If he wants to do something, you can't stop him. That's just how bro is." The body cam footage also reportedly shows another Vaughn affiliate, Oblak, name unclear, shooting at Lil Tim before being fatally shot by Atlanta PD. This moment highlights just how quickly the situation escalated, with multiple shooters exchanging fire and police responding with deadly force. The footage, which remains mostly unavailable to the public, paints a chaotic and tragic picture of a night that could have changed everything, only for it to become another cautionary tale of how quickly violence can spiral out of control. The body cam footage offers an unfiltered, raw look at the chaos that followed the initial shooting. You can hear the cops barking orders, desperately trying to regain control of a rapidly escalating situation, with multiple shooting victims scattered across the scene. Later in the footage, officers are seen discussing one of the shootings, emphasizing that they need to make sure to watch that one because that's the one he was shooting right there, the black one. Yes, don't touch it, just leave it there. Don't clear it. One of the craziest revelations from the body cam footage is that it allegedly shows the moment Oblak Louie was shot in the head during the shootout. Despite initial reports claiming Louie was dead, he miraculously survived that head wound. In the body cam, you can hear officers desperately trying to save him, calling out for help while working to stabilize the victim. This footage hits differently compared to the security camera videos that had previously been circulating, which captured the initial face-off between King Vaughn and Quando Rondo. While those earlier clips revealed how the confrontation began, the body cam footage focuses on the bloody aftermath, showing first responders scrambling to tend to the wounded. For Quando Rondo, the aftermath of that night has been unrelenting. In an interview, he addressed how the entire situation has affected him, saying, "I ain't got no beef with nobody." When asked about reports claiming he was the intended target, he insisted that all that you heard was cap. Nobody knows what really went down, bro. Despite his claims of no ongoing beef, the repercussions seem to have followed him. In August 2022, his cousin and close friend, Savaya Lil Pab Robinson, was gunned down in Los Angeles. A viral video captured Quando's raw emotional reaction to his friend's death. In a shocking development that connects these events, Lil Durk, King Vaughn's right-hand man, was arrested in October 2024 on federal charges. The feds claim that Durk allegedly orchestrated a murder-for-hire plot, targeting Quando Rondo. According to the authorities, this hit was a direct retaliation for the tragic death of King Vaughn, the point where it continues to affect those involved, especially Quando Rondo. The legal and street consequences stemming from that tragic night in November 2020 have rippled through the rap scene and beyond. The death of King Vaughn, one of the most significant figures in drill music, set off a chain reaction that no one could have predicted. The bloodshed didn't stop with Vaughn's death. Reports suggest that Oblak Louie, a member of Vaughn's crew, was also charged for shooting at Lil Tim during the incident, though details of these charges remain unclear. This adds yet another layer to the already tangled legal mess surrounding that night. On top of this, Timothy Lil Tim Leaks, who was initially charged with felony murder for King Vaughn's death, saw those charges dropped in August 2023. While the exact reasons behind the dismissal remain unknown, many legal experts believe Georgia's Stand Your Ground laws may have played a part. These laws permit the use of deadly force in self-defense situations, which could have provided a legal basis for Tim's defense. For Quando Rondo, the events of November 6, 2020 have been devastating, not just emotionally, but professionally. In multiple interviews, he's explained how the fallout from that night has made it harder for him to book shows and maintain his music career. Despite everything, he's remained consistent in his claim that he had no prior issues with King Von, and that the whole situation was a random encounter that escalated out of control. He's expressed regret over how things unfolded, even suggesting that a peaceful resolution might have led to a potential collaboration worth millions. According to reports from Rhyme Junkie, Quando said, "That could have been a money move, a collab track worth $3 or $4 million. Leaked bodycam footage, which surfaced recently, provides additional context and adds a raw layer to our understanding of what happened that night. While previous security camera footage gave us the initial face-off between King Von and Quando Rondo, the bodycam footage captures the chaos that followed. It allegedly shows O-Black members like Louis and another associate returning fire at Lil Tim in retaliation for shooting King Von. The footage also reveals the police's chaotic arrival at the scene, as they tried to secure the area and assist the wounded. Even nearly 5 years later, King Von's legacy continues to loom large. His death hasn't just impacted his family and crew, it has reverberated through the hip-hop community, leaving a complicated legacy that still shapes the culture today. The events of that fateful night in Atlanta have created a ripple effect. From legal battles to street retribution, and there's no clear end in sight. King Von's life and death are deeply intertwined with his criminal background, time spent in the system, and the environment that shaped him. To truly grasp the impact of his legacy, we need to understand how his experiences in Chicago's streets and the justice system played a crucial role in forming both the man and the artist. Born on August 9, 1994, as Devin DeCoyne Bennett, Von grew up in Parkway Gardens, a project on Chicago's South Side that locals referred to as O-Black. This area was notorious for gang violence, drug activity, and gunplay, which were regular parts of life. Von's early life was immersed in this environment, and the streets left a heavy mark on him, shaping both his mindset and his music. His ability to tell authentic street stories came directly from these harsh realities. Von's first serious run-in with the law happened when he was just 16 years old, in January 2011. He was charged with armed robbery, which led to him spending time in juvenile detention. Despite his incarceration, Von managed to secure his GED, showing early signs of intelligence and a desire to improve his life. After his release, he briefly attended South Suburban College in South Holland, Illinois, but soon dropped out, indicating that education wasn't the path he would choose long-term. However, Von's heaviest legal battle came in 2014, when he faced murder charges related to a shooting in the Englewood neighborhood of Chicago. The incident, which occurred at 5700 South Laswell Street, resulted in the death of Malcolm Stuckey and left 2 others injured. Von was slapped with 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder, charges that could have sent him away for decades. From July 2014 to December 2017, Von was locked up in Cook County Jail, spending over 3 years behind bars while his case progressed. This significant period of his life meant that while others in his generation were developing their careers, Von was stuck in the system, waiting for his fate to be decided. The case eventually fell apart when witnesses refused to testify, and in December 2017, Von was acquitted of all charges. The long stretch of pretrial incarceration left a major impact on him. In interviews, he described his time in jail as eye-opening. "When you're locked up, you got all the time in the world to think," he said. "I knew I had to find something else to do with my life, or I was going to end up dead or in prison forever." During his time in jail, Von began writing rhymes, not fully realizing that these early bars would lay the foundation for his future music career. His experiences behind bars gave him a wealth of raw material for his storytelling, which he would later bring to life in tracks like Crazy Story. In these songs, he demonstrated his ability to paint vivid street narratives, something that resonated deeply with his audience because it felt real and authentic. In addition to the charges in 2014, Von was also questioned about the fatal shooting of Gakira Key Barnes, a well-known figure in Chicago's gang culture, in April of the same year. This further underscored the type of environment Von was navigating, one where violence and street politics were a constant backdrop. Ultimately, King Von's time in the streets and the system became integral to his artistry. It not only shaped his outlook on life, but provided him with the material that would make his music stand out. His ability to tell stories from the heart of Chicago's roughest neighborhoods allowed him to connect with listeners in a unique way. While his death was tragic, the life he lived and the way he channeled it into his music ensured his legacy would resonate with generations to come. King Von's troubled legal history only grew more complicated over the years, adding another layer of intrigue and tragedy to his life story. Despite the massive success he was beginning to achieve in his rap career, the streets seemed to have a constant pull on him, dragging him back into legal entanglements that he couldn't escape. In 2019, Von and his childhood friend Lil Durk found themselves caught up in a shooting incident outside a popular Atlanta spot in February of that year. Von faced charges of robbery and aggravated assault in connection with the event. While the final resolution of these charges remains unclear, the timing was critical. Just a year before his death, Von was still battling with the street life he was trying to leave behind. His legal troubles, even as his music career took off, illustrate the struggle many artists face when trying to transition from the street to legitimate success. The streets had a grip on Von that wasn't easy to break, despite his rise in the music industry. Like many artists with similar backgrounds, his journey to escape his past was anything but clean or simple, showing just how powerful old habits and environments can be, even when new opportunities arise. Von's big break came in 2017 after being released from jail when he reconnected with his childhood friend Lil Durk. Durk, already a prominent figure in the rap game, took Von under his wing and signed him to his Only the Family label. This marked the beginning of Von's transformation from a street figure to a rap artist. His debut single, Crazy Story, dropped in December 2018 and quickly became a hit. The track was an instant success, showcasing Von's unique storytelling abilities and his authentic portrayal of life in Chicago's streets. What made Von stand out from the pack was his ability to tell detailed, cinematic stories that felt real. His verses painted vivid pictures of life in the infamous Parkway Gardens, O'Block, and other parts of Chicago, drawing listeners into his world. King Von's approach to rap was different from many of his contemporaries, because he was one of the few who rapped about the streets with raw authenticity. Unlike others who fabricated their street stories, Von's lyrics came from lived experiences. He didn't just tell tales, he shared real, raw narratives that were grounded in his own life. This made his music resonate deeply with listeners, especially those from similar backgrounds, who could identify with the realities he was describing. Tracks like Took Her to the O and Wayne Story further solidified his reputation as a master storyteller, earning him comparisons to legendary rappers like Slick Rick and the Notorious B.I.G. Despite his success, Von's legacy could have been so much more had he not been taken from the world so soon. According to his former manager Track, Von had recorded around 300 unreleased tracks, enough material for approximately 10 albums. This revelation has kept fans eager for more, with numerous leaks making their way to platforms like SoundCloud and Reddit. As recently as February 2024, a Reddit post asking for recommendations of unreleased King Von tracks was flooded with suggestions, showing just how much fans still crave his music. Some of the most anticipated unreleased tracks include NASA, OG, Heartless, Hard to Breathe, and several collaborations with Lil Durk like I Am No Auto, Raincoat, and Takeoff Champ. These leaks have only amplified the sense of loss felt by fans who believe King Von had so much more to offer. His music wasn't just about the streets. It was a deep dive into his mind, his life, and the environment he grew up in, a narrative that now, tragically, remains unfinished. King Von's posthumous releases, like What It Means to Be King, March 2022, and Grandson, July 2023, have continued to keep his voice alive in the streets, allowing his story and legacy to endure beyond his untimely death. As of April 2025, a new project titled Unreleased Songs is set to drop, according to BaitGo.com, ensuring that the impact of his music lives on. These ongoing releases have allowed fans to connect with Von's artistry, a testament to how deeply his music resonated with people and how much unfinished business he left behind in the industry. For many young people from similar backgrounds, Von represented the possibility of breaking free from the cycles of violence and incarceration that seemed inescapable. His ability to take his personal struggles and transform them into compelling, resonant music showed how art could be a means of escape, both for the artist and for the listener. Through his music, Von was able to give voice to his pain, his experiences, and the realities of life in Chicago streets, in a way that felt genuine and relatable. King Von's life, from his time in juvenile detention and county jail to his rise in the rap game, mirrored the very stories he told in his music. His legacy isn't just about the tracks he left behind. It's about the narrative arc of his life, which reflects the struggles of so many others trapped in similar circumstances. His story has become a cautionary tale about talent, opportunity, environment, and fate. For Von, his own life story, with all its triumphs and tragedies, became his most powerful narrative, a story that continues to resonate long after his death. Through his music, he left a powerful mark, and his story serves as a lesson for all who listen. For a storyteller like King Von, perhaps the most fitting memorial is that his life, his experiences, and his artistry continue to educate and inspire, reminding us of the potential to rise above our circumstances, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Thank you for watching.